Hi loves, welcome back to TigeraGitana. My name is Abby and tonight we're going to be working on healing generational trauma. This is not the definitive way to heal generational trauma. This is just one of the ways. I am going to be communicating through the Akashic Records as well because I do have them open. So any additional messages that come out will come out during this ritual because it very much well is. There are certain things that I'm going to mention through healing generational trauma, and you're going to need a couple of different tools, and some things you can omit, some things you can add. This is flexible up to how it is that you want to perform this ritual, so in essence it's up to you. But the first thing that you're going to need is a notebook. Okay, I am using this is one of the notebooks that I got a while back. Is one of my journals and one of my spiritual journals, and you can see the hieroglyphs on it. And I am going to be using this one specifically for this work. I'm going to also be using a red Sharpie pen because I am working with the root chakra for this. This is healing generational trauma, so this has to do with the root chakra connected to the ancestors. The other thing that I already did is that I pulled some cards for myself because I wanted to show the example of how you're going to be doing this. So I pulled some cards for myself, and I didn't do it with a specific number in mind, but I do see that now there are nine cards on the table. And the question that was asked was simply what generational trauma do I need to heal today, and that was the question that I pulled for. The first card that came out, and it's the only card that came out in reverse, is the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, which I'm not really surprised to see this here as coming out in my in this video for what we're doing. This is root work, and this tells me that there is an ancestor that had some trauma with money, with finances, that has been now passed on through what I'm going through and past generations as well. So it's just been passed down through multiple generations. And we also have the Knight of Wands, and I'm going to show you the cards and then I'll explain to you what the message is for me as far as this reading goes, and then I can kind of give you some insight. I'm not going to be sharing everything because obviously this has to do with my family, so I'm not going to share everything, but I will share the interpretation that I'm getting. Then I have the Three of Wands and the Three of Pentacles, so 2 3s. I'm getting a lot of Elegua energy, honestly. Then we have the Four of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. Then we have Death, the Three of Cups, and the outcome is the Empress. That's the card. That was the outcome. Let me see if I can get that to focus. Okay, it doesn't want to focus. And so the outcome is the Empress. So this spread specifically right now is really telling me a story of how it's kind of been passed down, why it's also been passed down. There has been an imbalance with, and it's especially because we have earth energy beginning and starting off the reading. This tells me that there has been an imbalance within the root chakra within my family for a long time, with finances, with putting in the work and actually working on our ideas, our dreams, specifically our passions. Okay, our passion, our drive, what we know, it's like our divine journey, what we know is that we're meant to do with our lives. what we know we need to put our time in and work with and work towards in our lives, being that Knight of Wands energy. And then at the same time, on a creative level, putting our dreams and our goals and our intentions to kind of rest, to kind of just stay stuck in a physical realm and not a productive or creative way, but instead just being stuck with what we have, just taking what the minimal thing that we've taken and just kind of running with that, which has kind of left our creative side a little bit just kind of, the best way I can put it is almost like just kind of like simmering, where it's not really getting addressed, not really getting worked on, but the gifts are still getting passed down through the generations as things go by. We still ultimately have a very good lives and have decent lives collectively. However, there's just things that we could do better, where if we fixed those specific things, then we would be in a better place and fertile in the way where things would just grow and we would have financial success. As we're at the beginning, we were pushing that away. So that's how I'm interpreting the reading right now. Now, the other tools that you can use during this, and one of the ones that I'm going to use right now, this is thyme, not like the time, but the herb thyme. And I'm going to be burning this just to cleanse my space. And thyme is really good for purification. It's really good for healing, and it's also really good for psychic powers. So because we're doing ancestor work right now, we want to make sure that we just cleanse the space and just smoke that out. Okay. Now, also before I started this video, and this is optional as and is up to you, but I smoked before I started this video. The reason being is because weed, marijuana, is an herb ruled by Saturn, so it's directly working with Saturnian energy, earth energy, and the energy of time, because of what it does to time within our bodies. I wanted to tap into that energy, and I also have the records open because I did want to allow for the messages to flow really, really easy. And when you are high or a little bit intoxicated, your kind of wall, your barrier, your energy, like as far as your own energy, it just starts to kind of get a little loose, and you're able to really loosen up to the messages, loosen up your body, and then pick up on minor clues. I'm not telling you to go get shit-faced drunk or anything like that, or to get super stoned. I'm just telling you to just allow your body to relax. So if you want to take a shower before you do this, if you want to meditate before you do this, that's totally fine. But I just wanted to calm and relax my body down that way, so I did smoke before I did this. And some herbs, some other tools that you can use for this ritual is crystals. Crystals are really good to use during this ritual because they'll allow you to stay grounded while you're doing this. So I have a couple of my rituals, tools that I use. There's, I want to say, 4 crystals that I would recommend. The first one being garnet. I'm very biased to garnet because I am a Capricorn and this is my birthstone, because it's January, and I love garnet. It grounds me very easily. It's a very powerful stone, and it also works with my sacral chakra, so it does a lot for my body and to help keep me grounded. The other one is tiger's eye, which is another amazing one to use for grounding. The other one, this is a kind of like a, I would say a little bit of a rare one because not a lot of people talk about this enough. This is petrified wood. Petrified wood is actual wood that has been in many ways crystallized, and it is a very powerful tool because this is part of a tree. And it is a very powerful tool to use to ground yourself because you're actually using the earth to ground yourself, even with crystals, because crystals are part of the earth, they're part of earth magic. But wood itself is a very grounding just piece to have. So I'm going to be using petrified wood as well. This petrified wood is also really good for grounding and connecting and communicating with the ancestors. So this one's a really powerful one. The last crystal I would use would be a clear quartz. If you don't have anything else, you can use clear quartz because clear quartz is the crystal that basically can be used if with intention to take on any other energy from any other crystal that you have. So if you don't have amethyst, you can direct your intention for the clear quartz to help you with the qualities that an amethyst has, and it takes that on. And it's a really just easy crystal to use. It's like water. You know how you add tea and this, you could have water and it tastes different because you're infusing things with it. Those are all the other crystals. Clear quartz is like water. So that's what it is. It's just, you know, you can set the intention for it. If you want to focus on the root chakra, just tell it that. So that's what we're going to be using. As far as a crystal, I'm going to be using my garnet for this. And because I did smoke before this video, naturally my upper chakras are a little bit more loose. So that means that I do need to ground myself. So I'm going to go ahead, I have shorts on. So I'm going to be putting this right, but it like underneath my belly button right before, it's like right at the, where the base of my spine would be. But on my front. So I know I'm trying really hard not to say like really close to my yoni, but that's where I'm going to be putting it. But just right before there, because that's at the base of my spine. But I'm just going to put it before there. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to put my two hands right at that spot like this. Okay. And I'm going to ground myself. So I'm going to put my feet flat on the floor and I'm going to ground myself. You can do this with your shoes off, however you want to do it. I have a ton of plants around me, so this also helps. My plant babies also help with just grounding me and the energy in the space. And I'm just going to ground myself, just take a couple of breaths. And really direct your breath and your light to the bottom half of your body, from your waist down, to your feet. That is your root chakra, that right there in action. So you want to just breathe in and send that breath straight to the bottom half of your body, just to ground yourself. And I'm going to take the time now to call in my ancestors into my space. Now, my ancestors are already in my space because they're always with me, but I'm just going to call in my ancestors. You can do this with a prayer. You can do this just by saying, I welcome my ancestors into my space. I ask for your guidance. I ask for your help into this experience so that we may heal together. As a family, as blood relatives, through the generations and beyond. I ask that my ancestors be here with me so that we can grow, heal, and prosper together. However else you want to say it, it's up to you. And before I start this, I'm going to take my ancestor oil. You can put it in your hands. I'm going to put it in my wrist. And I'm just going to rub it together and then put it right on my chin area, right underneath my chin on my neck. Then I'm gonna anoint my third eye. And I'm putting it on my wrist, so when I put it together like this, I'm breathing that in through here, because I'm just praying, calling in my ancestors, and I'm just putting my face right here, and I'm praying and I'm breathing it in, and I'm thanking my ancestors for being here with me. I'm thanking my ancestors for allowing me to be a vessel for this healing. And you're just relaxing, making sure you're grounded, making sure your feet feel grounded. Your energy should be flowing at your feet. And I can definitely feel that because I already set the intention for it. I can definitely feel that happening at the base and my lower body, which is good. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take your pen. You can use any color. I'm just using red because, again, we're working with the root chakra. You're going to take your notebook. Because you already have your story, what you're going to do, I'm going to turn the notebook straight like this. Okay, so we're going to be doing it this way. And what you're going to do is you're going to write your name. You're going to draw a circle, write your name. Okay, you're going to write your name. You can write your full name, however you want to do it. Then you are going to make a line. And because I don't really want, I respect people's privacy, I'm not going to put in my family's actual names on here. I'm just going to put like mom, dad, uncle, whatever. So I'm going to put lines across. I'm going to put mom and dad. You want to be writing your actual family's name. And you want to be doing this, hold on. You want to be doing this up until you get to a relative that you don't know. Okay, so what I mean by that is, like, for example, if I'm focusing on my mom's side of the family, this is just an example. You want to make that the focal point that you're focusing on. So, like, let's say you're doing generational work on your dad's side of the family. You want to focus on that specific. So you're going to draw dad, or you're going to draw mom. And then you're going to start naming all of the brothers, sisters. Now, my mom has 22 brothers and sisters, and I believe 12 that are from her mom specifically. So obviously I'm not going to like draw 22 in here because I haven't met all of them. I know there's 22 of them, but I haven't met all of them. Some don't live in this country. They live in, well, not all of them live in the United States anyway. Most of them live in the Dominican Republic, but some actually live internationally as well. So I'm not going to put all of them in there, but the ones that I know, I'm going to put brother. I'm going to put bro. Sorry about that. I'll put like bro for now, but it'll be like uncle or whoever, and I'll put sister. Okay, and you're going to do that. Once you do that, you are going to draw another line, okay? And it's going to be that uncle or aunt's family members that you know of. Again, if you run out, let's say your mom had one brother, one sister, right? The brother didn't have any kids, but the sister had 2. You're going to put the 2, and then you're also going to put the husband. Okay? Or wife. However you want to do it. And then once you do that, you're going to put the mom. And then once you do that, you're going to put the father. And you're basically essentially making a family tree up until you know when it stops. Okay? There's a reason for this, and we're gonna talk about it in a few, but there's a reason why you have to do this, and you have to do this just for the way we're doing this ritual today. So once you, let's say that's all you know. All you know is that your mom has one sister or a brother and sister. Brother doesn't have any family on that side, just the mom and the dad, which they share. And you put their sons, daughters, whatever. If they have kids, put them in there as well. Once you get past like your grandmother, your great grandfather, if you, all you know it's that, what you're going to do then is get another sheet of paper. Now, because I didn't write on this side, I'm just gonna flip this around. Get another sheet of paper, and then you are going to start writing the known things that have been passed down through your family line. Okay. Now, for me, since I did the reading already, I know that there's been some financial issues that has been passed down. So I'm going to write financial issues. I also know that there has been some issues based on the reading on actually going towards like our dreams. So I'm going to put dreams / goals. Put chasing dreams / goals. I also know that we're still spiritually grounded and intact. For this, you're only going to want to put the negative parts on this. So that's like the only thing that we're putting in. But if there has been some blockages on it spiritually, you want to write that down. So let's say our intuition has been passed down, but some people within the family like block it off, or and then that just keeps getting passed down through generations. You want to write that down. So I just put intuition blockages. And then the last thing I'm going to do is put grounded, successful, happy. Let me just check. And divinely guided. Okay, so these are the issues that I'm going to focus on specifically right now. Now, if you're writing down this list and you're like, well, my family has an alcohol problem, or like that gets back down, or maybe there's some abuse that has gotten passed down through your family dynamics, or maybe is an actual disease that has gotten passed down through your family dynamic, you want to write that down on here, okay? And the reason why is because we're going to be targeting themselves. This situation, we're going to come back to in a second, but you want to write down all of these issues, and you also want to write down if you know of a family member specifically that suffers from this issue the most, or that they're made of an example of within the family, and you kind of have heard your family members discussing it all the time and saying, oh, it's this person, or it's this part of the family, or this group in the part of the family, and blah blah blah, like stuff like that. You want to start making those connections, because that's why we did this. So you want to make a note of which family member from which side of the family, if you know what it is. For my case, I know that it's been just happening for a lot of generations, so it's not going to necessarily be traced to a specific person, but it can be traced to a specific group of people as well. So the next thing that you're going to do after this, and I'm going to be explaining this, you are going to be asking your ancestors, and you can do this in two different ways, to show you who or which side of the family suffers from these issues the most, you can do this. One, this is going to be a little bit of whatchamacallit, the word escapes me. This is going to be a little bit of automatic writing within this video. So you're just going to ask your ancestors to, you're going to go over the kind of map, the family map that you've made. And you're going to go over and you're going to say, you're going to look at the issue here. You're going to pick an issue and you're like, where did this financial issue start? And for this, if you want to, you can put like a yes or no if you want to make it more like Ouija board style, but you can put, you can ask, where did this issue start? Did it start with my recent family or my more past family within like generations that you don't know their names of? And if they say yes, then they say yes, and then, you know, or they direct you to like more, it's more present, this has been happening closer, then it's closer. You are going to ask, where does this trauma come from? So like, let's say I'm just relaxing my head and I'm just relaxing my hand and I'm just like, hey, my ancestors, please show me or tell me where this trauma originated from. And for example, you just start circling one side of the page and it shows, oh, it comes from your brother's father's side of the family. Then you know a little bit of where you're going to be targeting your intentions, which side of the family you're going to call on, that specific thing. Because a lot of the time with ancestor work, you have one ancestor representative that really kind of goes to, I have a few, but my main one is my grandmother. And the one that you usually know when you were alive is the one that you have a bigger connection to. And that really depends, because for one of the other examples that I can give you with that is that my sister's actually not that close with my grandmother from my mom's side, but I'm the closest one to my grandmother from my mom, from my either one of my grandmothers. I was actually the one closer, but my sister was not, so she doesn't communicate with her the same way she communicates with me. So she's kind of like my representative. Think of it like as almost like a government, like one gets voted on or something. She has been the one that basically is the line of communication between my ancestors and me, because there is a ton of them, like thousands. So she's my line of communication. She gives me the messages. So I'm talking directly to grandma when I'm talking to her. So once you basically see where within your family is coming from, you're like, oh, it's from my aunts, from my mom's sister, who's aunt like married this person, and we're going closer. We're targeting a specific side of the family, and you're able to really see where it's coming from. Now, I will kind of be very mindful with, because I can automatically see this going a little bit different for someone that maybe wants to target a specific side of the family just to out of bitterness. Like if you're mad at a specific side of the family, you're like, oh, who started all this? Oh, it was this person. Be very careful with doing that, because you're trying to do healing work. You're not trying to be petty or you know, start drama where it doesn't need to be. So just be mindful of, you know, the healing work that you're doing. We're not trying to blame anybody for what they have done. We're just trying to understand why it happened, where it's coming from, and how we can stop it. Okay, so that's what I mean. So once you have done this and you know which side of the family it's coming from, now that's one way to figure out where it's coming from. The other one is a meditation if you don't want to do this. If you are adopted, for example, and yes, I am going to make an adopted ancestor work video for you guys, that's coming. But if you are adopted, for example, and you want to do this but you don't know any of your ancestors or connections for whatever reason, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do a meditation. You're going to have to do an ancestor meditation. It's kind of non-negotiable. It's just it's what needs to happen. You're going to have to do an ancestor meditation. Within this ancestor meditation, you are going to call in all of your ancestors, both good and bad. The reason why you need to do this is because you kind of need to know what it is that you are needing to heal. You're able to, if your third eye is good and you're able to really to see them, then you'll be able to see what they look like, who they are, what era was this, what, you know, what the location looked like. You're able to really tap into the time of it all, and get more information. Now, you're gonna have to do the ancestor meditation. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna call them forward, all of them. Okay, you can relax, ground yourself with the crystals that we spoke about. Ground yourself, relax. Take a couple of breaths. Okay, you're gonna relax, you're gonna breathe in. Also, I am gonna be doing an ancestor meditation video that's gonna come, so you guys can have that guided meditation. But you're just gonna relax. You're going to start visualizing yourself. I usually visualize myself up in the stars. That's how I like to meditate. So just to keep my pace with the meditation, I'm always in the stars. My Venus is in Aquarius, so I'm just gonna be up in the stars somewhere. Some people like to visualize themselves in the jungle. Some people like to visualize themselves by the ocean. However you want to do it, I'm up in the stars. So I start visualizing myself surrounded by stars up in the sky, and I'm just breathing in, breathing out, and when I'm ready, I'm calling in all of my ancestors. So you can visualize a planet, you can visualize it the whatever way you want to. If you're in the jungle, you call in your ancestors to come in from all of the plants and leaves surrounding you to come and meet you wherever you are. However it is that you want to do it. And you're just going to say, I would like all of my ancestors to be present with me right now at this time so that I can know more information about myself and be able to help and support and heal you guys just as much as you protect, love, and heal me. Once you have held that space and you start seeing them coming in, if you don't do this right away and you don't, as far as seeing them right away, and you have like issues with the meditation, you're gonna have to do more meditations before you do this work. Generational trauma is not necessarily a basic thing to do anyway, so you're going to have to do the work before you're even on the level of doing this. So just make sure that your meditation skills are on point and that you know how to meditate and that you can just relax. And you know, a lot of people love to say that there's like 10 million ways to meditate. You're walking in the park, you're meditating. No, meditation is when you kind of quiet your mind. And I'm sorry I'm getting like annoyingly aggressive with this, but meditation is when you can quiet your mind in order for you to receive those downloads, those visualizations. It's almost like dreaming consciously, but not dreaming where things are illusions and lies, but actually seeing things with conscious, with your purpose, with your will, saying, hey, I would like to be in this realm right now. This is what I need right now. I need to talk to the angels. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to talk to my ancestors. This is what I'm consciously choosing to do. It is a very mindful thing to do, but it is not, meditation is not listening to music. Meditation, it is in not necessarily like if you're listening to guided meditations or musical meditations where you're listening to music in the background but you're meditating. I'm not talking about like you're gonna listen to your rock band or you're gonna listen to a rock band or you're gonna be driving. That's not meditation, because your mind is truly not free. When you're meditating, your mind is free to be open to whatever it is that you're calling it in. It is a blank slate. Every other form of quoted meditation that people say is meditation is not meditation. It is action while you're trying to relax. I said what I said. Okay. Anyway, so you're just gonna have to do more meditation in order to get to that point where you can allow them to come in and visualize. If you're more of a witch, that it's more on the feeling sense as far as like your clair goes, then tell your ancestors, hey, please come into the space. Like if you're not a visualization person, and just say, can you please just hold my hand while we are in the space. Hold my hand. Or if it's for you is more like sounds, then tell them to whisper the people's name, like the person's name. And you can do this if you don't want to do the actual map of your family. You can do this with the meditation as well, just if you want to like kind of skip a step. Regardless, you're going to, once you get to the point where all your ancestors are there and you're holding like this conference hall of like all of your ancestors, you're going to say, hey, what are the generational traumas that have been that I need to heal right now? What, because there's going to be a lot of different things that get passed over, but what is it that you need to heal right now? What is the big one? And like, let's say for you get the message that, oh, this is a health issue that keeps getting passed down, then that's what you're going to be targeting. And you want to have like a little bit of a list, because because you have this list, then you're able to really kind of do work for these separate issues. You can break it down in different times. So let's say right now the moon is in Capricorn. It is the best time to do a lot of earth magic, ancestor work, because it's just amplifying that Capricorn energy. Then you're able to say, okay, let me focus on earth magic, let me focus on the ancestors, my roots, let me like put a focal point on that. So then we're able to just ground ourselves a little bit easier because the moon is already in Capricorn. So it's kind of like you're working with your well, first of all, you're working with astrology, so you're working with the sky, what's happening in the sky right now. You're working with your crystals, you're working with your ancestors as well, so you're definitely focusing on the grounding aspect of this. But then let's say you wanted to work on one of these other issues at a different time versus right now, because I'm not going to target all of these issues right now. I'm going to target the financial issues because the moon is in Capricorn. It's a really good to do money work. But let's say, look, there's been intuition blockages as well. So with intuition blockages, maybe I want to work on it when the moon is in Cancer or Scorpio or Pisces, because they're very intuitive signs. Maybe I want to do it specifically. I'd probably do it when the moon is in Cancer, because the mother energy already is present throughout the reading, and I want to be amplifying those divine feminine energies. So I want to do it when the moon is in Cancer for that specific reason. So these, essentially, the list that you're making, the list of traumas that you're making, is a list of rituals that you're going to have to do, that you're going to have to heal, and that you're going to be targeting. Okay. So I hope that you guys are still, still with me during this ritual, because this is a very long ritual. So for this, we're going to be targeting financial issues. Okay? That's the one I'm going to be targeting today. Now, there's certain aspects of this that I cannot show you guys, because obviously, one, I cannot take you up into my own meditation while I do this. So it's kind of like I can't show you completely everything, but you're going to want to focus a lot. Like for me, for this specific issue, whatever issue you're picking, and I'll keep it that way. I'll make it a little bit more general for you guys. Whatever issue it is that you're working on, you want to, one, start highlighting the energy points that's connected to your issue. So for mine is the root chakra. So for example, like let's say in your family, your first issue is a love issue. Like you guys have a really bad heart chakra, you guys fall for the wrong person, or never stay married, or are always getting divorces, or always getting separated, or never grounded in the heart chakra. If that's your issue, you're going to write that down, and then you're going to write what chakra it is in relation to. Now, the next thing you're going to write is, you can put a little line with the arrow if you want to. You're going to write, which person do you know that has this issue within your family? Okay, we are targeting specific people because we're also sending them healing when you're doing this work. So you can put from the closest ones that you know to like the non-closest ones that you know. For me, I feel like my family's financial issues come more from my dad's side, because my mom's side is actually really wealthy in the Dominican Republic, has been historically wealthy in the Dominican Republic. So I know on my mom's side, it's always been like we've always been very grounded and taken care of in that area. But on my dad's side, it has not been. It's been the opposite of that. So I'm going to be mainly focusing on my dad's side of the family for this. And because I'm not as close with my dad's side of the family as more as I am with my mom, I'm going to stop where I know I I can't go any further with. However, because I know it's coming from my dad's side of the family, I can then ask my ancestors, can I please know, or while I'm meditating, I'll ask, can the ancestor that from my dad's side that's had these financial issues that has been passed down, can they please step forward right now? And that way I'll know exactly directly which one I'm working with. Okay, so then that ancestor would then come forward. And I did this ritual before when a while back, when one of my ancestors came forward with, it was a completely different issue, and it was one of my ancestors from Spain, actually. So I have a Romani ancestors, and one of the ones I work with a lot is one of my female ancestors, and it's from my mom's side, because my mom's side of the family is majorly from Spain. My dad's side of the family is more of the African descent, and like the Taino descent as well. So I have two different, like I have a lot of different things going on ancestry wise, but she is one that I work with a lot of the time, and I work with her specifically with a specific aspect of my magic. But one of the generational traumas that was passed down to me was actually from her, and that had been passed down with my family was actually from her. So I actually had to go in and heal that specific issue, and it was a beautiful, liberating experience. But again, we're gonna focus on this, but I just wanted to give you an example of that specific thing. And also, one of the things that happens through this ritual is that you're able to connect with that ancestor a little bit more, and she's one that I work with a ton. So you're able to kind of start building those relationships, and if you are adopted, for example, you can then have a deeper connection with your ancestors this way by performing this ritual, and going through and healing that list of things. And you are going to then, after you know who it is and the issue, you're going to ask them to tell you how this issue became an issue in the first place. Okay, so if it's financial issues, how did it become an issue? Okay, just writing, how did it become an issue? And in many ways, this is very similar to doing past life work, because you are kind of time traveling while you're meditating and seeing what happened before so that you can heal it. This is very much like past life work. Once that ancestor tells you how to heal it, you are going to be, because you've already been a vessel for the trauma itself, so you need to focus on the healing aspect. So you need to communicate with that ancestor to release that energy, not only from themselves but from the family line that has been passed down through generations. This part allows for everybody to be healed within the family since it's happened, since its inception. Okay, so I just want you to understand the importance of this moment specifically. You're going to take their hand, or you're going to hug them. For me, when I was healing this before, I was hugging her, and I was getting a lot of the different visions of how it happened, why it happened, the emotions of it. I was almost taking a lot of it in, and like integrating it within myself, and understanding. And it's a moment of it's a moment of also peace. It's an intense moment, but it's also an integration of all of those emotions, all of those feelings, why it was so traumatic, why it's been held on to for so long, and just kind of understanding that. And it's really important to be non-judgmental through this. Like, if even if it's something that was minor, for my specific case before, she had this traumatic experience, and when I saw what it was, it could have been so easy for me to say, oh, but that's not, like now, like that's not like as big of a deal as it should have been, but it became a bigger deal because of what she went through and her experience at the time. And it was like having to kind of process the trauma of it all and how things came to pass the way they did, and everything that happened, and her having to leave. It was just, it was a deeper experience for her. And so understanding and having that empathy in the moment is very important. Okay. Now, the next thing that you're going to do once you are, after you've embraced and you've held your ancestor and you've released that with them, and a lot of time I find that they get really emotional, you thank them for being able to let it go. Okay. And that's when they're ready. And you kind of step back from, as far as like to see all of your ancestors, and you can see the lightness of how it changes through the generations. This is depending on how long this issue has been an issue, because you can build generational trauma on people that are still alive today, which is really annoying. That's if you have like a great ancestor that's still, kicking, and, it's just really old, and they're still kind of passing stuff down while they're alive, which is also very annoying, but completely possible, and it happens as well. So you want to make sure that you are looking at all your ancestors and seeing how that healing is getting passed down through you and how you are integrating it. You are going to then say thank you to all your ancestors for helping you and assisting you in being open to this healing. And when you're ready to come out of the meditation, you can come out of the meditation. Take your time coming up and rising from the meditation, and then just come back. If you want to, you can journal your experience. You can journal the healing experience. You can journal any visions, anything that came to fruition. I know when I, for example, with my ancestor that I was talking about specifically, right after I did that ritual, I within the meditation before I actually left, I saw my daughter that I'm going to have in the future, which was very interesting. And she was super healthy and super just glowing, and I felt like a mom, like that mom feeling that people have when they're just like, oh, that's my kid, like that's exactly the feeling that I felt. And it was a very beautiful experience for me to feel, especially because I got the message last year from Yamaya and everybody else spiritually that I'm going to be having a kid at one point, well, a girl at one point. So it was just like a very beautiful experience. So you'll start getting messages about the healthiness of your line as well. So just pay attention to anything else that comes through. Now you can journal the issue, the trauma. If you wanted to have a trauma journal, you can have a trauma journal, do it however you want to. But then once you've already healed that issue, you can cross that out. You can cross that trauma out, and when you're ready, you can then work on some of the other ones in the list from what that has been a thing within your family. Now let's say you're adopted and you don't know what's been a thing within your family. Then what you're going to do is you're going to write the issues that you have noticed about yourself, and this is very hard to do. I feel like, listen, when it comes to those who have been adopted, or who don't have a family, it's harder to kind of hold a mirror to yourself and be like, okay, well, why are things wrong with me? Why are things this way? Why is this an issue? Why am I like this? Why whatever. It's hard, but you have to be brutally honest with yourself. So for adoptees, for example, I would take the notebook page and I would start writing, what are the things that you think are wrong with you, that you do all the time? Habits you do that are really, really bad, that you know you shouldn't do them, but you do it anyway. Like, let's say you just drink too much. Write that down. Let's say ever since you were little, you kept having a certain specific habit, or is there something that you do, or even a disease that you have that's known to be passed down by family members and stuff like that. All of that. Write that down. Then you're going to go through the meditation, and asking for the information that you need, working from the chakra that you need to work through. And then once you do that, that's when you can call in your ancestors and really kind of get into the nitty-gritty of, hey, why am I like this? Why do I have this issue? Where does this issue come from? Where does it stem from? Which one of you guys does it come from? I want to know, because I want to heal this issue. And then that way you're targeting that specific thing that you know it's wrong. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So I hope that you loves enjoyed this healing experience, I would call it. I hope that you loves do this ritual as well. It's a beautiful ritual to do, actually till the end of I would say even during the Aquarius moon that's coming up, because generational work and kind of rewiring, resetting your intentions for your family, it's a beautiful thing to do with Aquarius, because they rule that natural society aspect, and that connection with society, and how we feed each other, how we give each other, how we grow together, how we evolve together. So this is definitely a ritual that I would do, either today, tomorrow, because the moon is in Capricorn right now, and during the Aquarius moon. So I hope you guys enjoy this ritual. I'm going to be putting this away now and just closing it off, and thanking my ancestors for helping me and guiding me, and showing you guys a way that you can heal generational trauma. This is not the only way to heal generational trauma, but this is one way. It's a very powerful way to do it as well. You are basically targeting and getting a lot of information, which is a very effective way to do it, because then you're actually able to know what's up. Like, you're getting more answers than just kind of keeping it light. You're getting more answers. What I would also do is, just before you go to sleep, just thank your ancestors, meditate. You can put some ancestor oil on your third eye as well. If you wanted to do this meditation or this healing work right before you go to sleep, you can do that as well. It's really up to you, but it's a very beautiful ritual to do. And I hope you have success in healing yourselves and healing your family as well. So I will see you guys in the next video. I love you guys. Thank you all to my new subscribers. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all of the things, my Instagram, my website at TigeraGitana.com, and my Patreon as well, because this was a patron voted video, so they voted for healing generational trauma for this week, so that's why this video exists. So definitely check out the Patreon as well, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.